thousands of local jobs right at your fingertips at KELOLAND Employment. Search, research area employers, even create job email alerts. Your job search just got easier with KELOLAND Employment at KELOLAND.com.
The Sioux Falls City Council holds a first reading of a stay-at-home order. A look at what it means for you coming up.
Plus, Governor Noem hosted a town hall to address the state's coronavirus outbreak. We bring you some of the key issues. Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
Smithfield Foods is now the #1 COVID-19 hotspot in the country. According to the State Department of Health, there are now 999 cases of the virus in the Sioux Falls area.
518 of the people who have tested positive work at Smithfield Foods. The meatpacking plant is now shut down indefinitely. Another 126 cases tested positive after coming in contact with Smithfield workers. Here's a look at how the Sioux Falls cases now compare with the rest of the state. 95% of South Dakota's active cases are in Minnehaha and Lincoln counties. New numbers are expected later this morning. Be sure to tune in to midday in KELOLAND for the latest COVID-19 numbers. With the state hitting over 1,100 cases and nearly 98% of the 180 new cases reported yesterday by the State Department of Health being in the Sioux Falls area, the City Council is looking to do more to flatten the curve.
Last night, the Sioux Falls City Council held a first reading of a stay-at-home order. If the order goes into effect, people can only leave their homes to work in a critical infrastructure sector job or for essential activities like getting groceries. Sioux Falls Mayor Paul Tenhaken says it is not an easy decision to make.
It's a sad day when the mayor has to bring something like this forward, okay? When the mayor has to make a decision between business, the economy, liberty, the Constitution, and public health, and pick which one is most important, because they're all important.
The order passed the first reading 8-0. A second reading will take place on Tuesday, April 21st. If passed, it will go into effect on Friday, April 24th. Governor Noem discussed the economy and Smithfield Foods situation during a town hall Wednesday night. Noem also says she is looking at what other states are doing in deciding whether or not to shut down the state.
She says South Dakota has more people staying home than compared to other states.
I can't imagine a circumstance where I would think it was appropriate statewide. We're just very different than the big populated cities, New York City, that you see on TV. We're spread out. There's a lot more open space here in South Dakota.
Officials also discussed the trial to determine the effectiveness of a drug to treat and prevent COVID-19 has not officially started. Additionally, many people have applied for the governor's small business relief fund. Turning now, was a wintry start to the week.
But is there any spring weather in the forecast as we wrap up the week? Let's find out with meteorologist Brian Karstens.
Yes, indeed. We've got some good spring-like weather ahead of us, but today, another day where we're still kind of in this setback mode, but not as bad as some of our friends to the south. Let me show you this, just to put it into perspective. There are winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories from southeastern Wyoming and then a solid strip through Nebraska into southern Iowa and northern Missouri. So, well, it could be more like winter again. We're going to miss that. I think that's all going to stay to our south here today. Temperature-wise, in the 40s for some. I think Sioux Falls could edge out near 41. We'll have to get our sun a little longer to do that. Otherwise, winds today are pretty light. We've had some fog issues around Pierre and Chamberlain this morning, so do take note of that. Your complete forecast and the better news for the weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks a lot, Brian. There are more potential exposure alerts in Sioux Falls. The health department says an employee at O'Reilly Auto Parts along Minnesota Avenue tested positive for COVID-19. The employee reported working April 9th and 10th.
Meanwhile, an employee at Tienda America along Franklin Avenue also tested positive. They worked April 6th through the 9th. The food distribution held in Sioux Falls Tuesday helped 800 families. It'll happen every Tuesday and Thursday from noon to 8 o'clock at the WH Line Fairgrounds.
We strongly urge people not to come out in a big bunch at noon or 11 o'clock due to traffic issues. It works a lot better if you can just kind of funnel throughout the day and there's plenty of time.
Organizers are asking that all cars enter from the north on Madison Street. Just use the Fairgrounds access road at the stoplight. The same amount of food is available throughout the day. You can register for the giveaway on the Helpline Center's website. You can find a link on KELOLAND.com. At Mount Rushmore, Pennington County fire chiefs and first responders gathered to honor healthcare workers everywhere. They say we can support people on the front lines by practicing social distancing and calling 911 when it's appropriate.
When you call 911 is when you can't breathe. You know, it's one of those things that if you sit there, you speak, and it takes you about 2 words, and then you can have to take another deep breath. From there, that's kind of a concern for us.
You should not call 911 if you are experiencing mild symptoms. Instead, you can call your healthcare provider to avoid exposing first responders. As we all know, a lot of events have been canceled due to the spread of coronavirus. Sporting events, concerts, and even weddings. Alyssa Hansen and her fiancé Cole Crable were supposed to tie the knot this summer, but after all the planning that went into it, made the difficult decision to postpone their wedding until next summer.
We want to replan our bachelor and bachelorette parties and bridal showers, and I want to be able to do all that leading up to it too. So I just think this was the best choice for us to just move it into next summer so that we can have it all exactly how we want it, and we don't have to, hopefully this will be well past by then and we don't have to worry about it.
The two are now planning a June 5th wedding next year.
Less than 2 weeks after the project started, a key permit for the Keystone XL pipeline has now been canceled. Wednesday, a U.S. judge said the Army Corps of Engineers failed to adequately consider the pipeline's effect on endangered species. Attorneys say the ruling won't shut down work that started at the U.S.-Canada border crossing in Montana, but the permit will be needed for future construction. Brian?
All right, one last look at weather here this morning. Our Futurecast update today shows the clouds in the south, the fog, too, we've had around Pierre and Chamberlain. And these areas of snow, primarily, again, well to the south. But if anything decides to skirt outside that deeper area, I think maybe Yankton, Springfield might get tossed in here with a slight chance of precipitation this afternoon. Otherwise, for the north, partly cloudy, Aberdeen, mid and upper 40s. Pretty good bet. Notice our clouds dissipating tonight. Westerly winds tomorrow. Temperatures are warming up in the 50s. We'll try to make a run at 50 in Sioux Falls and low 50s in Aberdeen. And that prevailing westerly flow will increase on Saturday. So breezy weather likely, but that will have an impact on temperatures. 62s are going weekend high in Sioux Falls on Saturday. 59 Rapid City. Sunday may be a little cooler. Not a major cool down, but with a passing cold front, again, it could drag down the numbers down just a few degrees. But considering where we've been, those are pretty minor modifications. I think today's high, again, 41 in Sioux Falls. Look at the 7-day, though. We are chock full of all of this mild air coming in early next week. Once we hit the 60s on Monday again, I think that's where we're going to be for quite some time. We could start hitting some low 70s. That's a possibility. As we watch all of that, too, it's a dry forecast. Aberdeen, breezy Saturday, maybe some more wind on Monday. But all in all here, a drying forecast, and Pierre in central South Dakota will be much the same. Low 60s on Saturday, 70 by Monday and Tuesday. And Rapid City and the West, we're looking at low 60s on Monday, and 60-degree weather continues until further notice, guys.
All right, thanks, Brian, and thanks for joining us for KELOLAND on the Go. Be sure to join us on air for midday in KELOLAND.
Until then, you can get up to the minute developments right here on KELOLAND.com. Now go have a great day.